Some equations do not look like a regular quadratic equation, but they can be transformed. So hi there, welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about equations that can be transformed into a quadratic equation. So if you want to learn how, then stay with me till the end of the video. Hi, welcome back. So today we will be talking about equations transformable into quadratic equations. So these four equations here are actually quadratic equations, but they need a little transformation. Now once they are transformed, we can now find the roots by using any of the four methods like factoring, extracting the square root, completing the square, and quadratic formula. So what are we waiting for? Let's start transforming. So let's do number 1. So you have x times the quantity x minus 5 equals 36. So let's try to transform this equation into quadratic equation. So to do that, we simply distribute our x. So distribute the x. So x times x, we will get x squared. See? The degree 2 is already showing. X times negative 5, that's negative 5x equals 36. So the last step, we're going to change this into its standard form. So quadratic term first, you have x squared, followed by the linear term, which is negative 5x, and then followed by the constant. So in this case, the constant is on the right. So we need to transfer it to the left. So from positive 36, it will become negative 36 equals 0. So there you go. You now have your quadratic equation. So in this case, since we have now the quadratic equation, we can now then find the roots. So I'll be using the method factoring. So I will factor this equation. So the factors of x squared, you have x times x, and the factors of 36. So there are many possible factors. But our goal is to get 5x. So it could be 12 times 3. It could also be 6 times 6. You also have 12 times, done. We can also have 9 times 4. So in this case, which of the following factors is more likely to get 5? So it is 9 and 4. Okay? So you have 36. So 9 and 4, and it's negative. It's negative 36. So meaning to say one number must be negative. Now in this case, our goal is to get negative 5. So we need to put negative here near to 9, and this one is positive. Why? Because negative 9 times x, you will get negative 9x, and then x times positive 4, you will get 4x. So different signs, we subtract, and once we do, the difference would be equal to negative 5x. So therefore, these are the factors of your expression x squared minus 5x minus 36. So we have x minus 9 times x plus 4. So to solve for x, we now equate the following factors into 0. So you have x minus 9 equals 0, and the other one, x plus 4 equals 0. And then we solve for our x. So to solve for x, we need to transfer negative 9 to the right, making it positive. So we will now have x equals 9. And this one, you have x plus 4 equals 0. So to solve for x, we transfer positive 4 to the right, making it negative 4. So we now have x equals negative 4. So the roots of our equation x squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0 are x equals 9 and x equals negative 4. We can also check. So again, when we check, we need to substitute this to the original equation. And the original equation is x times the quantity x minus 5 equals 36. So let's see. Let's have x equals 9. So you have x times quantity x minus 5 equals 36. So your x is 9. So you have 9 minus 5 equals 36. So 9 minus 5, that is 4, equals 36. And 9 times 4 is 36. So 36 is equal 36. Therefore, thus the root x equals 9 is a correct solution. We can now test x equals negative 4. So again, we substitute this to the original equation. X times the quantity x minus 5 equals 36. So your x is negative 4. You have negative 4 minus 5 equals 36. Now, negative 4 and negative 5, that makes it negative 9. And then negative 4 here, we copy, equals 36. And negative, that would result to positive. And 4 times 9 is equal to 36. So therefore, the root x equals negative 4 is also correct. So there you go. Number 1 is actually the easiest. Okay? So let us proceed to equation number 2. So let me erase this. So actually equation number 2, it's already in quadratic form. Okay? But let's just try to simplify it. So you have the equation the square of x plus 5 plus the square of x minus 2 equals 37. So here, these are squared binomials. So we need to transform this into perfect square trinomial. So again, to do that, there are 3 steps. So step number 1, we square the first term. Step number 2, we multiply the first and the second term, and we double. And the third step is that we square the second term. So if you want to recall, if you want to have more solutions or examples on this, then you can check my video solving quadratic equations by completing the square. Okay, so let us proceed. You have x plus 5, you have the square of x plus 5. So square the first term, so the square of your x is x squared. And then multiply the first and the second term and double. So you have x times 5, that's 5x. And then we double, we will get 10x. And then we square the second term, so the square of 5 is 25. So plus 25. And we're done with this one. So we proceed to the square of x minus 2. So plus, you have the square of the first term, you have x squared. Sorry, I should use parentheses. And then we multiply the first and the second, so negative 2 times x, that's negative 2x. And then we double, we will get negative 4x. And then we square the second term. The second term is negative 2 squared. That would result to positive 4 equals 37. So there you go. That's the expanded equation. So this time we are going to combine similar terms. So you have x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus a positive times positive, that's positive. So you have positive x squared. Positive times negative, that is negative. So you have negative 4x. Positive and positive, that is positive. So we just copy 4 equals 37. So we can combine actually the terms 25 and 4. Because both of them are constants. And at the same time, we can combine x squared and x squared. And also, we can combine 10x and negative 4x. So let's try to combine x squared plus x squared. So how many x squared do we have? We have 2x squared. And then the linear term, so you have 10x and negative 4x. So they have the same different signs, so we need to subtract. So 10x and negative 4x, that would result to positive 6x. And then 25 and 4, that would result to 29 equals 37. And 29 and 37 can also be combined. So you have 2x squared plus 6x plus 29, we transfer 37 to the left, making it negative 37 equals 0. So 2x squared plus 6x, 29 and negative 37 would result to negative 8 equals 0. So there you go, you now have your quadratic equation. So from this equation, the square of x plus 5 plus the square of x minus 2 equals 37, its quadratic form is 2x squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. So this is now the quadratic equation, but we can actually simplify this. Okay, so let's try to simplify. So as you can see, the terms are divisible by 2. So let's divide by 2 so that we simplify the equation. So you divide everything by 2. So 2x squared divided by 2, so you will have x squared. 6x divided by 2, you will get 3x. And negative 8 divided by 2, you will get negative 4 equals 0 divided by 2, that is equal to 0. So this is now the simplified quadratic equation. Okay, so since we have the quadratic equation, let us now find the roots. So in this case, I'll be using factoring still. Okay, so since it's already in its standard form, so I will factor. So the factor of x squared, you have x and x. Now you have negative 4. So what are possible factors of negative 4? And then our target is positive 3. So in this case, it could be negative 2 times positive 2. It could also be negative 4 times positive 1, or you can have it positive 4 times negative 1. So which do you think is the best factor to use? Our goal is positive 3x. So the best factors, or the best set of factors, is 4 times negative 1. So we have 4 times negative 1. So positive 4 times negative 1. Why? It's because 4 times x, you will get 4x. And then x times negative 1, you will get negative x. So since they have different signs, so we subtract. And the difference will result to 3x. So which is our target. So these are the best factors. Okay? So to solve for your roots, the next step is to equate the factors to 0. So you have x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 1 equals 0. So to solve for x, we need to transfer the constant to the right. So in this case, positive 4 will become negative 4. And negative 1 will become positive 1. So our roots are x equals negative 4 and x equals 1. So we need to check. So again, you have to always check your answers. And when you check, you need to substitute this to the original equation. So let's start with, you have x equals negative 4. So you have x plus 5 squared plus x minus 2 squared equals 37. So the value of your x is negative 4. So you will have negative 4 plus 5 squared plus negative 4 minus 2 squared equals 37. So negative 4 and positive 5, that would lead to 1. So 1 squared. Then you have negative 4 and negative 2, that is equal to negative 6 squared equals 37. So 1 squared is 1, and then negative 6 squared is 36 equals 37. So 1 plus 36 is 37. Therefore, x equals negative 4 is correct. Okay, and then let's have x equals 1. So we substitute x plus 5 squared plus x minus 2 squared equals 37. So the value of your x is 1. So 1 plus 5 squared plus 1 minus 2 squared equals 37. So 1 plus 5, that is 6. So squared, 6 squared. And then 1 minus 2 is negative 1 squared equals 37. Okay, so 6 squared is 36 and negative 1 squared is positive 1. So when you add 36 and 1 would result to 37. Therefore, x equals 1 is also correct. Okay, so it's very simple. So do not forget the steps in transforming your squared binomial into perfect square trinomial. So once you master this, then expanding is just easy. Okay, so let us proceed. Alright, so let's proceed to number 3. By the way, equations 3 and 4, we call these equations as rational algebraic expressions. So let's proceed with equation 3. So we are given 6 over x plus x minus 3 over 4 equals 2. So to transform, we need to combine our terms. So first, we need to find the LCD or the LCM. So in this case, x is a variable and 4 is a number. They will never have a common multiple. So the best thing to do is just to multiply them. So 4 and x, you will get 4x. So 4x divided by x. 4x divided by x, that would result to 4. Because we cancel. So you have 4 times the numerator 6 plus 4x, the LCD, divide by 4. 4x divided by 4, we cancel 4. So what remains is just x. So x, and then the answer x, we multiply this to the numerator, x minus 3 equals 2. So let us try to multiply. So 4 and 6, that would be equal to 24. And then plus x times x, we distribute, you will get x squared. And x times negative 3, you will get negative 3x over 4x equals 2. The next step is that we cross multiply. So in this case, our 2 will have an imaginary denominator 1. So you will have 24, you will have 24x plus x squared minus 3x times 1, we will get the same answer. Equals 2 times 4x, you will get 8x. So this time we combine like terms and at the same time we arrange. So we need to have our quadratic term first, and the quadratic term is x squared. Followed by the linear term. So the linear term is negative 3x. And then 8x also. But since it's on the right, we transfer it to the left. So from positive, it will become negative. So we will have negative 8x. And then followed by the constant 24. All of them equal to 0. So we combine x squared. So negative 3x and negative 8x, that would make negative 11x plus 24 equals 0. So in this case, we now have our quadratic equation. So from this equation, x 6 over x plus the quantity x minus 3 over 4 equals 2, we have now the equation x squared minus 11x plus 24 equals 0 as the equivalent quadratic equation. Now, since we have now the equivalent quadratic equation, we can now find the roots. Okay, so in this case, I'll be using the quadratic formula. So I need a bigger space. So the quadratic formula comes in the form x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we just find our a, which is 1, our b, which is negative 11, and our c, which is 24. So just substitute. So our b is negative 11. So negative times negative 11 plus minus the square root. Our b again is negative 11 squared minus 4ac all over 2, The value of our A is 1 and the value of our C is 24. So just compute. So negative and negative, that is positive 11. Plus minus the square root of negative 11 squared, that's positive 121. Then you have negative times positive, that's negative, and then the answer negative times positive, that is still a negative answer. Okay, so you have negative 4 times 1 times 24. Our answer would be negative 96. Am I right? 24 times 4. So you have 16. 4 times 2, that's 8 plus times plus 1, that is 96. Okay, that's right. So you have 121 minus 96 all over 2. Sorry, this is times 1. 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So we just solve 11 plus minus the square root of 121 minus 96, that would be equal to, that is 25. So the square root of 25 all over 2. So we solved 11 plus minus the square root of your 25 is 5 over 2. So we split. We have 11x equals 11 plus 5 over 2, and the other one is x equals 11 minus 5 over 2. So plus minus 5. So we just split. We got the positive and then we got the negative. So here 11 plus 5, that is 16. 16 divided by 2, that would be equal to 8. So x, the first root is x equals 8. And then the second one, 11 minus 5, that is 6. Over 2, we will get 3. So x equals 3. So we now have the roots 8 and positive 3. So we need to check. So I will just use this space here to check. Okay, so we will check if the roots 8 and 3 are correct. Okay, so the original equation, you have x equals 8. So you have 6 over x plus quantity x minus 3 over 4 equals 2. So 6 over 8 plus your x is 8 minus 3 over 4 equals 2. So 6 over 8, 6 over 8, we can actually reduce. We divide it by 2 over 2, we will get 3 over 4. Plus 8 minus 3, that is 5 over 4 equals 2. So since these are similar fractions, so we combine. So you have 3 plus 5, that is 8. 8 over 4 equals 2. So 8 over 4 is actually 2. And 2 is equal to 2. Therefore, the root x equals 8 is correct. Okay? So that's right. So let's proceed to the second root, x equals 3. X equals 3. So we substitute to the original equation again. You have 6 over x plus the quantity x minus 3 over 4 equals 2. So the value of your x is 3. So 6 over 3 plus 3 minus 3 over 4 equals 2. So 6 over 3, that is actually equal to 2. Plus, it's a question mark. 3 over 3, that is 0 over 4 equals 2. And 0 over 4 is just equal to 0. So 2 plus 0 is actually 2. And 2 is equal to 2. Therefore, the roots 3 is also correct. So this equation, when we transform, we got x squared minus 11x plus 24. And then we found the roots to be x equals 8 and x equals 3 by using the quadratic formula. Okay? So that's it. Okay? So number 4 is just actually similar to number 3. Okay? So let us erase. Let's have number 4. So you really need to actually review or to master the 4 methods in finding the roots of your quadratic equation. So by now, you should have known the quadratic formula, factoring, completing the square, and extracting the square roots. Alright, so let's proceed to number 4. So we are given the equation x plus 8 over x minus 2 equals 1 plus 4x over x minus 2. So we have to remember that expressions like this has an automatic denominator which is equal to an imaginary 1. So we need to find the LCM. And the LCM of these is, the LCM of 1 and x minus 2 is just equal to x minus 2. Because we have 1 times x minus 2, you will get x minus 2. Okay, so we are going to multiply the LCM x minus 2 to the entire equation. You have x plus 8 over x minus 2 equals, here also the LCM is x minus 2. So we multiply, you will have 1 plus 4x all over x minus 2. Okay, so you have x minus 2, so we're just going to, what's that, separate, times x plus this x minus 2 times 8 over x minus 2 equals this x minus 2, we multiply it with 1, this one, and then plus our x minus 2, we multiply it to 4x over x minus 2. So we multiply x times x, you have x squared. Then you have negative 2 times x, you have negative 2x. Now in this case, you have x minus 2 times 8 over x minus 2. We can actually cancel. So what is left is just 8. Equals, here, we multiply x times x minus 2 times 1 is just equal to x minus 2. And also this one, we can actually cancel. So what is left is just only 4x. So in this case, we now combine similar terms. So we have x squared minus 2x plus 8. And then we transfer everything to this side. So this x here will actually become negative x. And then this negative 2 here will become positive 2. And this positive 4x will become negative 4x. All of them equal to 0. So we combine like terms. So we copy x squared, negative 2x, and this x and this negative 4x can be combined. Now all of them are negative, therefore we just add. So negative 2x times plus negative x, that's negative 3x. And negative 3x plus negative 4x, we will get negative 7x. So that's 2 plus 1, that's 3. 3 plus 4, that is just 7. And then our 8 and our 2, we can combine. So positive 8 and positive 2 will make positive 10 equal to 0. So this rational algebraic expression, its transformed quadratic equation is x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0. So that since it's already transformed, we can now find its root. So I'll be using the method factoring. So I think it's actually very easy to factor. So the factor of x squared, you have x. And then for 10, we have 10 times 1. We can also have 5 times 2. So in this case, it could be negative 10 times negative 1 because negative and negative will just make positive. And also we can have negative 5 times negative 2 because still when you multiply you will get positive 10. Our target is negative 7. So more likely it is nearer if we use the factors negative 5 and negative 2. So you have negative 5 and negative 2. Why? Because negative 5 times x, you will have negative 5x. And x times negative 2, you will get negative 2x. So we can get the target negative 7x. So therefore, these are the best factors to use. So to solve for the roots, we equate the two factors to 0. So we split x minus 5 equals 0 and x minus 2 is equal to 0. We solve for x, so constant to the right. So negative 5 to the right will become positive 5. So x equals 5. And this one, x equals negative 2 to the right will become positive 2. So we now have our roots, x equals 5 and x equals 2. So that's it. I hope you learned something from my video, and if you do, I also hope that you give it a like and you share it to your friends. Thank you so much, and I hope you do subscribe. I'll see you again next time.